Yeah, what's good? This be the G Shaw Cypher. You already know the situation. You already know how it gets down. This is On the Grind Live, the official podcast. And you know my mantra, right? If you see me, you see dope people. Anything else is uncivilized. I got people with me that's been grinding and been doing their thing for as long as they've been doing it and just taking things to another level. So, like I said, you see me, you see dope people, and I got a dope person with me. Shout out to homie Ricky. What's good, my G?
Man, what's good, man? I woke up today. That's what's good. God
Yeah.
bless.
God bless, man. Definitely, definitely. You know what I mean? It's important. It's important to realize if you got another opportunity to wake up in the morning and get to it again, that's definitely the blessing right there. You know what I mean? Regardless of all the trials and tribulations that can come after or
Yeah,
what you had before. You know what I'm saying? So
sure.
definitely salute on that. But I want to get down to the music, to biz with you, man.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I mean? We talked on the radio station Power 107.6 The Truth about, you know what I mean, what inspired you from a music perspective. But you know, how did your journey in you know, how do you feel like the journey in hip hop really shape who Ricky is today?
Man, I would say the journey in hip hop, man, it just made me be more self-aware as a man, more than anything else.
Right.
Because music is a form of expression, it's therapy to me. So it gave me that time to kind of like sit with my thoughts. Because a lot
Right.
of times we don't sit with our thoughts enough. And when we
Right.
sit with our
Right.
thoughts, man, we can find some beautiful answers there, even through dark or good times, right?
Right. No, that's definitely the truth. You know, sometimes, you know, you don't realize, you don't realize how those thoughts can really shape you until you in that dark situation. When you feel like you in that good situation, you know you might not take it, you know what I mean? You might not take that as a lesson all the time. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
might take it for granted, but when it get dark, that's when you really start paying attention to it. You know, so I can definitely understand that. But what time in your life did you feel like hip hop was more than
Mm.
just a hobby for you? Because I know you had to fall in love with it before you started to actually pursue it. So, you know what I mean? Like, what was that time when you said, you know what, this not going to be just something that I love to listen to. This is something I want to do.
Probably when I was between the ages of 18 and 21,
Okay.
somewhere around there. But it's definitely when I came to like I always loved it and I did it with my friends and people I grew up with back in Cincinnati. But when I came to Atlanta and I had this vision, especially it put me in a different environment. And then I
Right.
got one of my OGs, shout out to him, Ty Vaughn, and we got together and that kind of like catapult me like taking what was once a hobby into a reality, and then it just kept building from there. So basically I would say between the ages of 18 and 21, and
Right.
definitely when I got to Atlanta and started evolving and maturing as a man first.
So do you feel like Cincinnati,
Mm-hmm.
kind of started it, but Atlanta was the way it was when you shaped it into what you needed it to be?
Absolutely. Cincinnati gave me the spark. It gave me that factor to even be the man I am today as far as that. And then
Right.
Atlanta kind of put the seasoning on it, like, okay, they what I'm saying, this raised them, but this made them. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
Right. Right.
they both were very important. You know what I mean?
Very crucial to the development of who you are today.
For
So I
sure.
can I can definitely hear you in that. So even in that, in the Cincinnati and Atlanta, is there specific artists in both, maybe in both cities, or within the hip hop world, or even not in the hip hop world, just from a business perspective? Is there specific people that you looked up to and was like, yeah, that's what I'm talking about as far as what I'm trying to get to? I might not be there yet, but
Mhm.
that's the kind of vibe I'm seeing myself in as I develop in this business.
Well, I'll tell you this: my favorite artist is JayZ. So you know
Right.
what I'm saying, like.
Oh, yeah.
I looked at that blueprint as far as and a Nas as well, as far as the greats. I looked at that blueprint, but they made great music, but especially Hove, he made great music, but he set the standard for black business and ownership. And he sprinkled that in his message and his music, coming from a guy from Marcy Projects and showing that the evolution, you might start out one way, but that don't have to be the narrative of your story. Because that's me. Like,
Right.
I ain't perfect. I started out one way. I ain't saying I ain't never been like, made mistakes. I've made mistakes as any person has in life,
Right.
but my
Right.
mistakes don't define me. So, I used that blueprint of like I was inspired, like, man, look where he took it and look where his mistakes and trials and tribulations, man. Why can't I be that person that show up and own something and it be black owned or it be just owned by things that are moral and integrity, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Shout out to Sweetie. She over here showing support for you. You know what I mean? I wanted to put that on there. Shout out to her. Keep grinding. You know what I mean? We
Love,
appreciate
love,
it.
love.
You know
Blessings.
what I mean? When it comes to your music specifically, what
Mhm.
message or themes do you aim to convey through your music?
Oh man, just an honest message. I look to inspire, motivate, and more so tell people to be themselves. You know, you show up as yourself in every room, you'll get respect. Don't try to come, don't try to come tougher than you are, and don't try to come lesser than you are. Whatever you are, you make sure you're that same person in every room that you walk in. Because
Right,
if you do that, everybody's going to respect you no matter what earth, no matter what part of the earth you plant your feet on, right? So
right.
my message in my music is more so like it's wide and vast. It speaks to all life. Be yourself, know yourself. Don't be afraid to get in tune with yourself and just believe in yourself. Trust you. Bet on you.
Right. You know
Yeah.
what though? You know, it's you can't, the only person that can really let you down is you. You know what I'm saying? That's how I
Right.
look at it sometimes and a lot of times and if you take it upon yourself to get to whatever you trying to get to by any means necessary with integrity, you know what I'm saying, with honor, without having to step on people's necks and step,
Yes,
you know
sir.
what I mean, or without having to step on people deliberately. You know what I'm saying? Like just making sure that you know what you're trying to get to. Can't nobody stop you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like can't nobody stop you because you know what I mean. People gonna try. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? It's just part of the process. People gonna
Yeah, of
try.
course.
You know what I mean? So, walk us through your creative process, man. When you writing and recording a track, like you know what gets you into that mood to create the next big record.
Well, like I was speaking, if anybody that was tuned in on that interview that we did on Power 107,
7.6. Yeah.
yeah, I'll tell you this. I have to live a certain amount of life first, right?
Right.
I have to live life first. I'm not one of them artists. I used to be when I was younger to get my reps in, of course. Like that's how I got my pen so sharp. You
Right.
know, I used to do a method where I write a 16 bar verse every day,
Mm,
regardless. It don't matter
okay.
if I'm recording it. I got thousands of verses that ain't heard. But
Right.
and then hooks and songwriting and structure and vocal control and all that stuff came later. But I have to live a certain amount of life. That way that experience leaks into the music. That way my message isn't sounding repetitive. That way I can always allow listeners to grow with me because ain't none of us the same, man. We gonna
Right.
grow every day. You
Right.
different than what you was when you woke up today than you was yesterday, right?
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Right. So that's how
Right.
I treat it
Right.
with the music, and it will reflect in your music whether you know it or not. So I don't like to get too stagnant and feel like I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. So my process is more so let it come to me. I treat the beat like a conversation, right? Whatever the beat is saying, I'll respond back. I'm not one of them people who go into the studio or to a writing process to say, man, I want to make one of these type of songs. That may work for some people, but that don't work for me. For me, it has to come from a pure feeling of like, dang, like this is what I'm just feeling right now. This is what this frequency is telling me to say, and I'm gonna respond back thoroughly the correct way.
Right. What does Ricky in Atlanta tell the
Mm-hmm.
Ricky from Cincinnati at
Mm-hmm.
18, 21 years old
Yeah,
in that range, you know,
yeah.
looking to really just, you know, figure out what he's doing in this music business or just in life period.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, if you had that opportunity.
I would tell them to just stay with it, stay consistent, and understand that what you don't know, you will know. You know what I mean?
Right.
What you don't know, you will know because the ambition was there, the passion was there, um, the drive to want to just be great was always there. But finding myself and fine tuning myself to figure out how to discover that and how to really walk in my purpose and not just, I'm gonna just say, just kind of like freestyle it. Like I freestyle it, but I'm also calculated about what I'm feeling and what I'm saying. So I would tell that man, like, man, just keep doing what you're doing and understand that everything is gonna be all right. You made mistakes, but your past don't define you.
That's a fact. That's a fact. How do you balance like staying true to your artistic vision, while appealing to a broader audience?
That's a good question. Um, I'll say that I pay attention to the landscape of things, and I make sure that I have a one of one sound. So I hear everything. I always keep my ear to the streets on everything, whether it's new or old. I listen to everybody from old music. We can go back to the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s,
Right.
and we can fast forward, right? Because my uncles and them and people I grew up with, they were always playing music from them times. So even when I was young as hell,
Right. Right.
I was still like capturing, my earlobe was still hearing things and stuff like that. So yeah, I would definitely say that yeah, I would definitely say that. Like I would definitely say that I have to be in a position to like really um just construct an honest feeling about everything, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Definitely. Shout out to the people that's tuning in. I see you. If you got a chat, you see the chat right there. Put some message in there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it up on the screen so Ricky can see that you supporting, that you here supporting. I
And shout out
appreciate
to
you.
everybody tuning in, man.
You know what I'm
Love.
saying? And one of the things I like to, ask, you've written a lot of records. If you and you have, a specific way of telling your story. Is there a specific track or project that holds like a special significance to you? You know what I mean? Whether it's something that you wrote already or something that you're in the process of developing from a song, you don't got it out yet, but you got it written. Like, is there anything significant to you that you like, man, I'm really glad I made this, and if so, why?
I like this my song called The GOAT. And the reason why is because it's telling people to be the GOAT of themselves, within themselves, be the best version of themselves, right?
Yeah.
I like that song because you can feel it. It gives you, it's purpose driven music. You know, you can get in the gym, get your workout onto it. You can go to work and get your hustle onto it. Whatever you're trying to do, it's gonna make you, give you that You know what I'm saying? Like I'm
Right.
out here, I'm on my job in life. So that one right there is a personal favorite of me because of the energy it represents and the message it represents. And of course, you know, I just feel like, man, all my verses good, but I feel like the verses on there, all the verses on there is immaculate. You know what I'm saying? Like just like even like the first few lines saying, they call me the GOAT, you should learn something. Read about me, don't be chapter jumping. Summer read, yeah, keep it 100. Summer read, yeah, keep it 100. I got no time to be hateful. I made it off you, that's a thank you. No time to be nice when they aim too. I made it off of things that's the same truth. You
Right.
see
Right.
what I'm saying? So,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
like
So you definitely making sure that people hear the message at the same
oh
time.
yeah,
The
yeah. I
delivery.
got them lyrics now.
Yeah. The deliveries definitely it's definitely there.
Mhm.
Sweetie said, I love Ricky's music. It's high vibrational and the messages are positive and real. You know what
Love,
I mean? So definitely a lot of love, a lot of, what I mean, anybody else out there, put those messages up there. I'm gonna put it up on the screen.
man.
Um,
Appreciate that.
yeah, man. So do you do your own production? I feel like in the background, I see that laptop. I feel like, is that logical? You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you know what I mean? Do you mix and master any of your own stuff? Like, or do you just work with a specific engineer?
I do have a engineer and everything that I work with and stuff like that, and I have like my in-house producers as far as that that make the beats and everything
Right, right,
stuff like
right,
that. But it's kind of like a marriage. Sometimes I tell them what the sound I'm looking for, and
right.
they'll kind of create around that. It's kind of like sometimes I executive produce the sound, and sometimes I'll be like, what do y'all have? So I don't produce as far as the beat, but
Right,
I produce the structure of the records, right?
right, right,
And I don't mix and master, but I'm pretty good with my pre-mix game.
right. I ain't gonna lie
I
to
was
you, man. As an artist, I can record at the house and then get it
yeah,
over to the engineers to make it sound like the way I need it. You get what I'm saying?
yeah,
So,
nah, definitely.
you
So
know,
what usually happens is that like you see the Pro Tools up behind me.
yeah.
I record myself all the time, right?
Right.
I record myself, independent of the vibe. Sometimes when I'm in my home, I have an intimate vibe. I record, and sometimes I need to go to the bigger studio to catch a different type of energy. It just
Right,
depends.
right, right.
But usually I record, have it all structured out, and then I'll send it off to one of my engineers, and then we'll put the final mix and master touches on it. But most of the magic, man, it happens right here with me. You know what I'm saying? And then of course, a great engineer puts that final sauce on it, and then we good.
Right. At this point in your life right now, do you feel like you living or surviving?
Oh man, that's a good one. I remember we talked about that one.
Yeah, I had to bring that back up.
I
I
like
had
that.
to, you know what I'm saying? Because there's
I
certain
like
things that there's certain times in your life where you start to reflect, right?
mm-hmm.
And then there's certain days where you feel good, certain days where you might feel down, you know what I'm saying? But then you start to really think about things that you've overcome, or just life period. And then, you know what I mean? So for you, you know what I mean, like let's let the people know again, like how, what do you feel like you at right now, living or surviving?
Uh man, I'm working on living every day, man. And that's
Yeah.
just honest, and some days I'm surviving as well. I'm human,
Right,
right? But
right,
just like I said in my single No Flaws that we played in the last interview, it's like I'm living. I don't even floss, I'm just living.
right,
Meaning like I'm not even trying to be extra. Like I am the floss. Like I don't have to do anything extra if I just walk in the room and be myself. My aura and my spirit will illuminate itself and you'll feel that. You know what I'm saying? So, I would say that some days I'm surviving and some days I'm living. But usually on the days that even I'm surviving, I'm still figuring out something so I can live correctly. You feel
right,
me?
right,
It's a clue even in the dark times, man.
right. That's a fact. You know what though? The fact that you recognize it, and sometimes you might not even recognize it at the time the darkness is happening. You get what I'm
Yeah.
saying? It usually comes down the line when you realize that you got out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, if I ain't go through that, I probably wouldn't have been as strong as I am right now. I appreciate that. You know what I mean? What do you feel like is the most valuable piece of advice you got over the years, man? Is there anything that you can pinpoint to that when
Mhm.
you think about it, yo, yeah, this one right here is really golden to me.
Uh, I'm gonna just bring. I got a lot of great things, but I
Right,
want to mention. I give flowers when flowers do. And it's something that one of my homies said. Man, shout out to my right hand man Loso. You know what I mean? He
right,
King Loso. He on my single thought streaming on all platforms. But he said something to me one day a few years back, and he said, "Man, look, God pays attention to the 2s, 7, 8, 9s, and 10s, right?
right,
Meaning that whatever effort you give on a scale from 1 to 10, that is the effort that God will match you back to help you get to where you need to catapult to. So if you're waking up every day and you're giving an effort of 1 and 2 and 3, and you're not pushing yourself to the max of what you can go, but unfortunately, that's the results you're going to get back. You know what I'm saying? The God in the universe is not biased. It's what I've learned from my experience in life. You
right.
know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying miracles can't happen because miracles do happen, but I still feel you still have to put a certain discernment of energy out there in order to receive what you really want out of life.
Yeah, and that's one of those. It's very important.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? You again, like you said, you're only gonna get back as much as you put out, and that's in anything, in any situation. It don't gotta be in music. It could just be in life, period, relationship,
Yeah.
things like that. You know what I mean? What role does your community or upbringing play in the music you create? Because I know you from a
Everything.
from a young age, you get what I'm saying? Like you can talk into it, you remember it, but how do you feel like it molded you?
Everything, man. Just from growing up, I'm a shout out to 211 Minister. That's like the family street, the family house. You know what I'm saying? Like all my cousins and first cousins all came out of that house. And, I'll say that just integrity, man. Like just being solid and standing on who you are. You know what I mean? Like being tough. And I ain't saying tough as far as like going out here trying to beat up somebody or something like or prove that I can like step on you or something. It's
Right,
just more so like, being a man of your word and always sticking to your business. And no matter how hard it get, you gotta push through. Shout out to my mom because she always told me that my mama was a single mother. You
right,
know, raising me, my brother and a sister on her own, and that tough integrity she showed us inside the house, and the tough integrity from individuals I grew up around, around the way, like that, it all set in stone. You know what I mean? Ain't none of us perfect, but I'll say the best thing I got from that upbringing is, man, be solid. Just be solid. You know what I'm saying? Because that when you solid, you can walk anywhere and get respect. You know what I'm saying? And you know, you ain't gonna let yourself go out like a sucker. You know, I don't never want my spirit to go out like a sucker. You know, I always want to stand on what I stand on. I ain't perfect, but I'm gonna figure it out. You feel me?
Right. Which takes me to another question I asked you before.
Yeah.
You know, I out of all the things that you experience, you know, on the evolvement side of your, you know, personality, what do you feel like was the biggest thing you've learned that might have involved you into who you are right now? Was there a specific lesson that you said, yo, you know what I mean, like this one right here, I had to go through something. It was definitely hard, but I got through it. But it taught me a lot. You know what I mean? Is there one particular one that that you focus on, that you know what I mean, that was big for you?
I'll say this. Probably when I got into a moment, and this is like back in 2020. I know that was a dark time for a lot of people, but
Right.
you know, but
COVID time and all that.
yeah, but on a personal level, man, just having to look myself in the mirror and not at the mirror. You see what I'm saying? Right. So,
Right.
you know, that's my motto now. I said I looked in the mirror and not at the mirror. So I had to kind of like just kind of call myself out. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand, like, sometimes it's like we like to point our fingers at why we're not where we want to be sometimes. I understand that, you know, things are moving great for me now, but, you know, I had to go through them lessons of prioritizing who the fuck I really am. You feel? You know, and so I would say in 2020, man, when I had that moment of just self-reflection of like, man, you ain't where you want to be because it's your fault.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? And when you do that, a lot of people are afraid to do that. Because we all want to play the blame game somewhere. But I said I ain't got time to play the blame game nowhere. I gotta call myself out. Now I ain't gonna figure it out overnight, but shit, fuck it. I'm gonna figure this out. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just keeping it, that's as raw as it get. I gotta figure this out day by day. And anybody listening, give yourself grace. You know what I'm saying? You ain't just because you wake up and you say, man, I'm woke and I want to be a better version. That don't mean life automatically get easier. Actually, it gets harder because then you start criticizing yourself differently. But then it gets better once you know, blossom and figure out something on the other side.
You know what's crazy though, man? Like,
Yeah.
you know, and talk, you know, going back to that 2020 period too. You know what I mean? 2019, I had my youngest son. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo,
Oh,
you
bless
know,
you.
I'm pushing. I got a little man, and I got to do this. You know, I got to do this. I got to do that. You know, I got a family. You know, me, my wife, you know, me. 2020 hit, COVID hit, and we all got to sit down for 2 years. You get what I'm saying? So now I'm looking around. And I'm seeing my family like, man, I gotta make something happen, but I can't because we gotta sit there and I can just see the struggle and feel the struggle. But it's a big lesson because that taught me, okay, not other avenues. You know what I mean? Grinding for me previously, it was always being able to get out and get to it. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Get out the house and get to it. Now I can't get out the house and get to it because everybody got to sit down. So that's, you know what I mean? So I had to figure out, okay, well, I gotta figure this out and do this. It really changed your mindset. So for you, like during that COVID era, was there anything that you dived into that just elevated your grind once you was able to, you know, get back outside and really expand it the way you wanted to?
Oh yeah, man, a lot of stuff because before COVID, you know, I'm a just, you know, people might see me a certain way, but they ain't know that in my mind I was kind of a lost cause. You know what I'm saying? Just kind of, you know, just man, I feel like I lacked certain discipline personally. You know,
Right.
and you know, that's what I feel like I lacked the most. So in COVID, I had, like you said, we had nothing but time to sit down and reflect and think. It
Right.
forced you to think,
Right.
right?
Right.
You know, because I was the same way. I could mask everything by just being outside, getting to some money, being in these circles, getting active, whatever it may be, right?
Right.
But I ain't have that. That's a drug to me. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Not literal form, but that drug of getting that high off. Like, you know what? I'm numb. I'm just out here. I feel like, you know, in that moment, you know, I had to tap in a little bit differently. And I feel like fitness kind of did that too, because I started getting in the gym heavy. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right,
I started getting in the gym heavy. But what happened is that I remember doing fitness, and I remember being like, I actually had COVID. I had COVID actually. And I was, you know, you got to be isolated for 14 days, all that other stuff.
right,
So
right,
I'm sitting back and I'm chilling. And I'm just like, man, this was messed up. And I never felt so weak before. And I was like, man, I kept telling myself, I don't never want to feel like this again.
right,
I gotta do something about it. So
right,
what happened is once I got better, you know, I was like, man, I don't know, I'm about to get in the gym, I'm about to build my immune system up, I'm about to just redesign my whole mind frame. And it was more so mental and spiritual than physical. The physical came with it, but it was like more so spiritual for me. I was
right.
like, it brought me closer to God, and it made me hold myself accountable. You know what I'm saying? It made me hold myself accountable because I ain't have no choice but to stick to the script. I'm like, I made this contract with myself. I ain't got time to negotiate this shit. I got goals. So let's not do all that other stuff. Let's get up and let's get to it. And that ultimately helped me be a better man. Um, it taught me how to love better, treat people better.
Right.
You know, it brought a different self-awareness to me, man. I can go on, dog.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
It
Definitely,
really helped
definitely.
me out though. Like it's bigger than it just made me strong or whatever. Man, it really reshaped the man I am, man. And
Right.
I thank God for that man, I thank God for that pain.
No,
You
I
know,
feel you. I feel you. You talked about being in the gym heavy, and shout out to my business partner, Tampa Mystic. I know you've been with, you went out there and
yeah,
you visit Tampa Mystic doing the industry's most wanted. You know what I'm saying?
love.
Um, one
Man,
one thing y'all have in common is the gym and making sure you being fit. How important is it for you, and really period, for you to make sure that you treating your body right, and you in that gym and staying fit and staying right and keeping that body the way it needs to be.
I mean, it's everything because I feel like it's the engine to everything I do. You know what I mean? Like I said, it keeps me accountable.
Right.
So, like I said, when I wake up or I do this, I'm like, I gotta it taught consistency in a different way, right? Because I understand in the gym, don't nothing come easy, and it kind of like it humbles you because a person to think that they big and bad in a certain way until you get in here and you realize, yo, man, it was hard for me to do 50
Right.
push-ups and da 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 da
Right.
da.
Right.
And you're like,
Right.
nah, like this shit is real. So by challenging my body, it allowed me to challenge my mind. And that opened my mind to different things. And it opened my mind to a different perspective on life. And that's what like brought me closer to God. It made my music better because I vowed to only speak a message that inspires people and not destroy people. That's just
Right.
how I wanted to go. But I was just really just opened up who I really was that I didn't know who I was at first. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
plays everything, man. I do business better, I talk better, I treat
Right.
people better. You know what I'm saying? I feel great, man. I feel good, man. Like, I can have a bad day, man. I go in that
Right.
gym and let it all out. You know
Right.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let that energy out, especially if you had any anger issues. Like, I used to have some anger issues in the past sometime. That really I took that out on that and
Right. Right. Right.
therapy.
Definitely. One of the things that's important when you're looking to grow and evolve and elevate is to recognize that some things you might need to change, right? Like you got to embrace the change. Is there anything that you feel like or is there any type of change that you're working towards in order to get to that next level, that goal that you want to get to?
Yeah, I'll say this, and I'm pretty sure this is all of us sometime, but
Right.
um I'm currently working every day, man, to try to get better in whatever form I can. I would say just kind of like staying out of my own head. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Kind
Right.
of be in our own way. It don't matter how good we're doing. I'm pretty sure there's billionaires and millionaires who still in their own way sometimes. It don't
Right.
matter who you are. So I would say just trying to stay out of my own way. Because ain't nothing, can't no human on this earth block what I'm divine and destined to do.
Right.
But
Right.
but I can block myself. You get what I'm saying? If I don't act and react accordingly.
Right, right,
Yeah.
right. I feel you. Now, from a music perspective, is there a specific artist or producer or engineer or somebody that you that you want to work with in the future or now? Maybe you've already worked with them and you want to talk about that experience, but you know what I mean, like from a collaboration perspective, who do you have in mind? You know what I mean, that you want to make sure that you link with, you know what I mean, before it all ends.
Oh man, a lot of people, man. We can even go. I would love to work with a Lauryn Hill, you
Right.
know, and Erica Badu. I would love to, of course, get a verse from Hove, but we'll see.
Oh yeah.
You know how that goes.
Right, right, right,
Uh,
right,
you know, from the J. Cole's to the Kendricks to the Drakes to the Big Sean's. I like Fab. Fab is slick. Jadakiss,
right,
T.I., Lil Wayne. You know,
right.
I can go on and on.
Yeah,
Rihanna.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Chris Brown. Anybody who know how to make great music and is honest with themselves, I can see myself definitely just working with them. All the greats, and whether you're in the great in the past or great now, like I'm just open to anybody who has um, just the passion of making great music and a product that can inspire people.
what is your opinion about the way music, the way the direction music is going right now? You know what I'm saying? Really, overall, just as a fan of music, and then really from a hip hop perspective, like what do you how do you feel about the direction it's been going at least the last year or so?
Uh, I will say this. This year I like how competitive it's been.
Right. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do like that. I like the because hip hop always been competitive. You know what I mean? The only thing that I would say is that if we can minimize some of the, I know life gonna life, things gonna happen, and it's entertainment, of course. If we can minimize some of the collateral damage that affects other people in a certain way, like let's just keep it. If we're gonna be competitive, let's find a way to keep it competitive um on wax with the music. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
let's
Right.
keep it with that because music all it's gonna be competitive. That's just what
Right.
it is.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, I'm interested to hear what everybody doing, man. I like the energy that everybody's putting out as far as like wanting to strive to make the best song, the best verse, you
Right.
know,
Right.
even from touring, like, some people put a lot into their touring, like, some of their
Right. Different
showcases and stuff
performances
like
and
that.
stuff
So
like that. Yeah.
that's competitive as well, because music has layers. It's not just the music. I pay attention to how people are packaging themselves as well. Yeah,
Right, right, right. The delivery in the package is very important. You
yeah.
get what I'm saying? So I can definitely feel you on that. What else you want to get into, man? I know there's more. I know there's more stuff that Ricky wants to do, man. Like we talked about it before, but let the other people know, like, what else you trying to dive into, or not trying. What else you going to dive into?
Shoot, man. I'm not sure what I want to do with film, but I want to get into film. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
I
right,
want to I want to get into film, and when I say get into film, I would love to, maybe play some roles. You know what I'm saying? I always can see myself playing in a movie like Fast and Furious or something like
right,
that.
right,
You know
right.
what I
Driving
mean?
it. Yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah,
feel you.
yeah, playing and stuff like
You
that.
putting it out there. You know what I'm
Yeah, I'm putting
saying?
that energy out there,
You
man.
know what I mean? You putting it out there. That's what it
Yeah.
is, man. There's people
Um,
that's tune in. If, for the new people tune in, man, let them know how they can get to you, man. I know you. I know you got some social media and all that good stuff. Tell them how they can get to Ricky, man.
Oh man, you can follow me on social media at IG and Twitter at Ricky Divine, RiqueDivine. And you can also type in Ricky for Life, RiqueFOR Life for
Right,
YouTube. And man, I'm on all streaming platforms, man. And that On Life, I just dropped my new single On Life last week. That's streaming on all platforms. Shout out to I Swim Sharks for the
right.
push. That's my distro, my
The
team.
distro.
All
Right,
love.
right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, any shout outs you want to give to the people, man? You just shout out. You just shout out your distro. Anybody else that that you want to make sure that uh you
Yeah.
know you thinking about them and all that good stuff, man.
Uh, man, shout out God. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Shout out God. Shout out my city. Shout out for Cincinnati making me solid as I am. You know. Shout out
Right,
Atlanta for making me as great as I am. And
right,
shout out to my manager, Tasha Love. Um, shout out to all my people, man. That's close to me. Y'all know who y'all are. I don't want to get too
Yeah.
much into it, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
already dropping for, but they know who they are, man. My
Right.
shout out to my circle. You know,
Right.
they know who they are, man. And man, and just man, shout out to me for making it through the adversity I made it through to still be here. You know what I mean? And I want to give a rest in peace to my homie Cadence and my homie O. I always say rest in peace to them because, you know, I grew up with them doing music, man. You know, from we used to put the sock on the microphone. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In the dirty closet, just making it work, recording off Audacity. You know what I'm saying? That was
Yeah.
the times, man. But you know, I love them brothers, man, and they really helped make me me. So, you know, I want to give a shout out to them, you know what I'm saying? And shout out to my boy King Loso as well. You
Yeah.
know, he on my singles streaming right now on all platforms, Thoughts. Great single. Shout out to Coolie Cool back home, Lil Bro, Lil. I can go on, man.
Nah,
These are
there's
little
somebody on
sons.
here called,
Shout
there's
out to
somebody.
my mama and
Shout out to your
also
mom, definitely.
my pops, you know what I'm saying? Like free
D-Ron Smith
pops.
just came up on here. D-Ron Smith says big up 513 pops. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, shout out.
You
What's
know,
up, man? Shout out Pops, man. He always support me, man. And I appreciate that, man. He always been there, man. And I appreciate anybody that's been in my life, man. All my family in Cincinnati and all my supporters in Atlanta, man. It's like I have an interesting story, man. It's layers to this stuff, you know.
yeah.
And I just love them all, man. And you know, without them, I don't even know where I would be in life as far as a soul, you know what I mean? And
Right.
I'm just here to inspire. Like I said, I'm just a vessel. I'm just here to inspire, man.
That's a
You know?
fact. Well, listen, man, I appreciate you taking the time out. You know what I'm saying? We got this locked in. I ain't gonna lose it this one. You know what I'm saying? We
Oh,
good.
hold on. Shout out, since you on here to run, shout out I Dream Academy, man, because they pushing the youth back home in Cincinnati. Like he inspiring the youth, getting kids off the streets and stuff. So I love that.
Yeah. We need to talk to him. We need to,
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah, he's really doing it too.
Yeah,
Like
we need to
yeah,
talk to, you know what I mean, and spread that out. Let people know what he's doing in Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely
sir.
appreciate that. I appreciate the people that's tuning in. You know what I mean? On the Grind Live, I'm Shaw Cypher. This is Ricky. You already know what it is. We're gonna take it to a next level. If you missed it, hit the rewind button on YouTube. We did this live. Hit the rewind on Facebook. You know what I'm saying? And we did this live, and we're gonna keep it grinding, keep it moving. All right.
Peace
All
and
right,
blessings.
y'all. Appreciate y'all. Salute.